Welcome to the Michael Singer Podcast, presented by Sounds True, in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information about Michael Singer's work, access to all prior episodes, and information about upcoming releases, we invite you to join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com.
Jai Gurudev, Jai Masters, has a very, very deep teaching, which we don't normally touch because it gets very intellectual. People like to think about it. But we're going to build a ladder, a very logical, understandable, attainable ladder to the very deep teaching. It's very Zen, very, very deep. It's called Nonduality. You've probably all heard of it, the non-dualist teachings. That the great ones go into a state of non-duality. There's a lot of intellectual stuff out there, science, physics, this, that, everything about non-duality, the non-dual state. There's a whole movement about non-duality. We can talk about what it means, or we can talk about how to get there. I want to talk about how to get there. So, for example, let's start with something simple. There are these things called cars. Ever heard of them? Let's say there's a bunch of cars driving by. You say, I saw a car. Somebody's into sports cars, said, I saw a Ferrari. Somebody's into electric vehicles, said, I saw a Tesla. Somebody's into Mustangs, I saw a 67 Mustang. They didn't see a car. They saw the differentiation. What's that gap between the type of car, the type of this, and a car? Your mind. You didn't see the Ferrari as a car. You didn't see a red car, right? You saw cherry apple red, your favorite color. Your mind is making that distinction based upon what? Your past experiences. Otherwise, they're cars. So in a sense, there's non-duality in the world of cars. You have not forced a differentiation. I should have started earlier. There's these called clouds. Ever heard of them? Okay? They go by all the time. They're clouds. Oh, are they Cirrus or Nimbus or whatever? Okay? Or are they shaped like your grandfather's wheelchair? Or do they remind you of that looks like Mother Mary? You're doing that. They're clouds. It is you that's making them be different than clouds. You're creating these distinctions that exist in your mind. What color is the car? It wasn't blank. What color is your house? I don't remember. How can I remember the color of your house? It doesn't matter to me. What color is your bicycle when you were 5th grade? Did it leave an impression on you enough, on your mind, so that when you interact with, somehow confront the concept of your bicycle when you're in 5th grade, it brings up all kinds of stuff that creates differentiation. It was your bike. It wasn't a bike. It was my bike. So you can start to understand that there is a state. What? That there's no color? That there's no bicycle types? That there's no car types? That there's no cloud shapes? No. But they're still clouds. They're clouds because your mind is not making them be different. You're not differentiating. Is it wrong to differentiate? No. Is it right to? No, it's just, there are lots and lots of things that you don't differentiate about that other people do. Ever seen an ant? Seen ants? Oh, ants running around. What kind was it? What's its category in the phylum? I don't know. It's an ant. There. You didn't create duality. It is your mind that's doing that. It does not have to do that. Why would you do that? Because you have interest in it. You have a personal interest in the color, a personal interest in the shape. What if you don't? And there are lots of things in your life you do not have that kind of personal interest about. They're just cars. They're just clouds. And you're perfectly happy having them be cars and clouds. Is it better to know what type it is and how many cylinders it has? No. It's just if you want to, you can do that. But there has to be a reason for you doing that. You don't do it with the ants. Do it with the roaches. How many types of roaches are there? Oh, no. I'm not interested. Okay? So I'm not saying that duality is bad. I'm saying there is such a thing as non-duality concerning these things in your life. White lines on the road. Are they yellow or white? Tell me the last ones you drove by. I don't know. You probably don't even know if they're solid or ash because you don't pay attention. But if you ever got in a car accident and you got tickets because you passed on a double line, you know what those are. Because they left an impression on your mind. Do you understand that? Good. I'm just laying that foundation. Okay. Now let's go to something else. Noses. I did noses Sunday. I'm going to do noses again. How much do you judge a person because their nose? Some people do. Some people have an adorable nose, all right? I got a big nose. I got a Roman nose, a good nose. Like, what are you doing? It's a nose. Can you be non-dual about a nose? Yes or no? We're getting there. It's a little more personal than the car, but people do this with noses. They pick them out. If you go to have a nose job, you can look at pages and pages and pages of noses. That's amazing. I mean, which one do you want? What's wrong with the one I have? You can have your nose jobs. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing's wrong with anything. I'm just trying to get you to understand the depth of non-duality. Okay? So many of you don't do that about noses. Many don't do that about dresses or jeans, right? You just put your clothes on. You make a special occasion, you might make a distinction, but in general, you put your stupid clothes on. Some people, are you kidding me? They stand before that mirror for 15 minutes every morning, trying on 2 to 3, you're blushing, 2 to 3 different outfits. That's duality. That's non-duality. See, it's a very common, understandable thing. Not some mystical, weird discussion, but we're staying low so far. We're staying just down here with a couple of different things. Okay? So you see you can do it with clouds. You see you do it with cars. You see you do it with noses. I'm going to take a giant step. Can you do it with people? What do you mean? We're all the same. Just like the clouds are the same. Just like the cars are the same. Until you need to make a distinction, we're the same. Be a Martian. Come down here. What do you see? People. They generally have 2 legs and 2 arms and noses and a couple of eyes. That's what they see. What a male, female. What are you talking about? I didn't check. I don't know what you mean. They're just people. Can you go that far? Have I lost you yet? Can that be non-dual? Imagine if you didn't need to see genders. It doesn't mean you can't. It doesn't mean you're blind. It means you're not making an internal differentiation because of your past experience, your needs, your desires, your hopes, your dreams, your fears, because of the stuff you have inside. Imagine being non-dual about something as big as gender or about people. What about nationality? Now, it's a big deal with nationalities, right? It's not that hard to imagine. You meet a person, there's a person, what do I care where they're from? What's the difference? Those are lines you artificially drew on the planet Earth. They're not there. Go out without the astronauts. They don't see them. There's this thing called an overview effect. Their lives change when they're in outer space because they look and they just see there are no countries. There's just this globe that's floating in empty space. And it can change you so that you get less dual. You less are interested in the differences and you're seeing the unification. We're starting to get high, aren't we? Okay? So, John Lennon, imagine there are no countries. Imagine there's this, imagine that. It's easy if you try. Okay? It's like you can't do it because you have these samskaras. You have these impressions that have been made on you based on your past experiences, based on what people have taught you, and so on. There you are. That's it. You can do anything you want with anything, but you're doing it. Food is food. People are people. There is no difference between male and female at that level. If you need there to be, just like the car, do you hear me? It's tough, I know. I'm talking deep to you. If you need there to be a difference, there's a big difference. If you don't need there to be a difference, there is no difference. Do you see what I'm telling you? You're doing it. But people will sit there and some intellectuals say, but look, there's a difference. Yes, there's a car type. Yes, there's a cloud shape. But if the difference doesn't make any difference, there's no difference. It makes sense to you. You're working your way up to a non-dual state. Why do you see a difference? Because it distracts your, now I'm going to go there, it distracts your consciousness. If I'm driving down the street and the cars are driving by and they don't pull my consciousness down into the thought patterns about the type of car and the type of gender and the type of this and the type of nose, then it doesn't do that. It doesn't pull me down. What happens when it pull you down? You get to stay up. I sort of get there about the non-dual state. Okay? So now we have people, now we have animals, now we have living creatures, and you have plants, and you have a planet, and you have a galaxy, and they're just what is. They're not anything that you need to make a difference about. Imagine if you were in that state. It means your consciousness is not being drawn down into differentiation. That is the non-dual state. It's not that you're going to argue there's no difference. Of course there's a difference. But there's not enough of a difference to distract your consciousness. That's the key. And a great master lives in a state where there is not enough difference to distract their consciousness. I quote you from the Gita all the time. My favorite part from the Gita, I'm paraphrasing, from the Gita, where Krishna told Arjuna, Krishna being God, Arjuna the disciple, there are these beings that are very high, they're very evolved, they're enlightened, they're self-realized, they're in the highest state. And Arjuna said, how will I know him? Sits he, walks he, talks like any other man. And Krishna said, you will not know him like that. He sits, he walks, he talks like any other man. If you would know him, in joy he's not overjoyed, in sorrow he's not oversorrowed. He lets goodness come when it will, and when it will depart, and lets darkness come when it will, and will depart. He walks as a stranger, a sojourner, amidst the qualities of nature. That's differentiation. The qualities of nature, yin yang. He walks as a stranger amidst the changes and qualities of nature. Just as all the rivers and streams of the earth pour into the ocean, and the ocean doesn't overstep its bounds, so the world of sense pours into the yogi and leaves him as it found him, serene, content, at peace. Equanimity is yoga. That's what I just talked to you about. It's not renunciation. I can tell you go real deep with these talks, all right? It's not about renunciation. If you're practicing renunciation, I want to know what you decided what to renounce. You renounce jewelry. You couldn't care less about jewelry, right? There's how I play the game. It's Ash Wednesday, and you're supposed to renounce something, right? You're not supposed to eat something. I do not like Brussels sprouts. That's what I renounce. That doesn't count. It has to be something you care about. How did you decide what you care about? Your past impressions. Stuff inside of you is distracting you, and you practice renunciation. That's all renunciation is. What you renounce admits where you're caught. A great being doesn't renounce anything because everything's the same. There's no distinction. You get up in the morning, oh, hi. You go through the day, hi, how you doing? Hey, hello, what can I do? How can I help? It's the same all the time. You're just giving, unfolding. Nothing's distracting your consciousness to pull it into differentiation. It's very deep stuff. Does that make sense to you? Do you understand that? Nothing is distracting your awareness of being enough to where you just don't see the whole as it is. There's a planet spinning through space. What'd you do today? A 360. Okay, what'd you do this year? A big 360. I did a revolution around a star. There, that's what you did. You kind of got a little more differentiation, didn't you? About what you did today, what you did this year. What if you didn't? What if your consciousness is so evolved, is so high, that it doesn't get pulled down, meaning you see it, you can do your work, but it doesn't leave an impression. You go there, you go to work. The boss yells at you, he compliments you, somebody else gets the task you wanted, you get the task you wanted. Who cares? It doesn't do anything. You're just open and you're experiencing what you're experiencing. It's not leaving impressions on you to where you get up in the morning. The boss criticized you today. You get up in the morning, can't wait to go to work, same as the day before. Who cares? It doesn't matter. You don't have to renounce it. It's not that I handled it. No, you didn't handle the fact that the cloud looked like your grandfather's wheelchair. You didn't even come down enough to make a thing out of it that you had to handle it. You're evolved enough to where you're up here. You're not down there. And you're seeing things as they are, but just at a much bigger, non-differentiated state. That's a very deep state. The third Zen patriarch talks about this. He says, the great way is not difficult, for those who have no preferences. How do you have preferences? You've had impressions from the past. You either want them to happen again or you don't want it to happen again. See, the deep Zen teachings, that's so complicated, is it? The great way, enlightenment, is not difficult for those who have no preferences. And he says, when love and hate are both absent, he means like and dislike. When love and hate are both absent, everything becomes clear and undisguised. Make the slightest distinction, however, and heaven and earth are set infinitely apart. If you wish to know the truth, hold no opinion for or against anything. Now, a normal Western mind has no idea what that's talking about. But I've taken you there a little bit. If you don't have these samskaras, these impressions that you kept inside yourself, you don't differentiate, you just experience. And the experience you have is always beautiful. It's always deep. Some people can't handle night. Some people can't handle day. They party all night. The other people are afraid of the night. That's because you have these impressions inside. There's day and there's night. So what? There's male and there's female. So what? There's rich and there's poor. So what? There's all these yin-yang differentiations, but if you don't need them to pull you down out of your high state, they don't pull you down. And that's where a great master is. They're experiencing everything. It's just not making a mess inside of them. And so it starts to become non-dual. If you don't see differentiation, why do you care? You don't get distracted by it. And so you go deeper and deeper. And ultimately, you transcend your personal self. That alone, the fact that they're your thoughts, are they your thoughts? They're your thoughts, and you care about them, don't you? They're your emotions, and you care about those a lot, don't you? It's your world, the one you see, the house when you get home, the car that you drive, the wife, the husband. They're all mine. I, me, and mine. And you know darn well it's different between your kid and somebody else's, your spouse and somebody else's spouse. There's no difference. You're sitting on a planet spinning around nowhere, making these things up. For once in your life, understand the deep, deep teachings. It doesn't mean you're immoral. Understand that? It means you're okay. You're fine with everything. Does that mean you don't work to raise things? No, you do. But it's not personal. So let's go back to your thoughts, your emotions, your body. Great masters, they've transcended the sense of body consciousness. Once, Ramakrishna, a very great master, fully enlightened, and he got cancer of the throat, and they brought doctors in, Ayurvedic doctors, this kind of stuff. He's in India. And the disciples loved him tremendously. He was such a great being. And he was staying in his room all the time because he wasn't well. And they brought this doctor in, and the doctor came out ecstatic, smiling, happy. And the disciples went up to him and said, what happened? What'd you see? I said, his Shakti is so strong. His chi, his Shakti is so strong. If 3 times a day he just concentrates it on his throat, it will heal. He can heal his throat with the power of his energy. And the disciples were so happy. They were ecstatic. They went into the master, said, Master, we can get rid of this, all right? Your Shakti, your energy flow is strong enough to be able to create healing. And he was like a little boy. He said, oh, okay, good. Because he wanted to do what the disciples wanted him to do. A couple hours later, they walked by his room and he was crying, totally innocent. He was crying. And they went and they said, Master, what's wrong? He said, you know how much I love you all. And I want to do what you told me to do. I really do. But I can't. And they said, why can't you, Master? The doctor said, that's not that. He said, I spent my life putting my entire consciousness at Mother's feet. I'm not taking it off for a second because of this thing down there. So he called his body this. All right? And he didn't. He said, I'm leaving my consciousness on God. I'm not bringing it down here to heal this thing. Yogananda did the same thing. He was in a wheelchair later part of his life, and they would always fuss over him and this and that. And we help you out, Master. At one point he yelled at them. He said, don't talk to me about this body. It's none of a bundle of troubles, and the sooner I get rid of it, the better. They don't identify with their body. They don't identify with their thoughts. They don't identify with their emotions. Somebody once asked Ramakrishna again, does an enlightened being ever feel anger? He said, yes. But it's like riding on water. How long does it last when you ride on water? Write yourself an essay on water. I want to read it. Everything passes through. That's the non-dual state. There's no difference between all emotions. They're just emotions. They're things that come up as energy, and you experience them. the same. You experience them all. And if you're that far gone, there's no duality. It's non-dual. Your emotions are non-dual. What did you feel? An emotion. Seen one, seen them all. How would you like to be there? Like clouds in the sky. Okay? That's what it means to become non-dual. If somebody's complimenting you or somebody's criticizing you, it's exactly the same. What do you mean? It's noises coming out of somebody's mouth. I told you, if you have trouble, we're going to talk more about personal growth. But I've never talked about non-duality this way, okay? If you have trouble with somebody said, in fact, if they're talking to you and you're having trouble listening, there's this little switch back behind your ears. You'll find it someday. You turn it and it changes the language that they're speaking in. Just turn that dial and you're hearing noise come out of their mouth. Oh, it's pretty. You can do that, can't you? You don't do it. Why? Because you get distracted. Because you are not non-dual. You are seriously dual. That cloud looks like my grandfather. I'm serious. Come here. Look at it. Come. No, I'm taking pictures. I'm going to go hire a videographer. I want everyone to see this. I'm going to publish articles. Well, you're caught, baby. That's a cloud. They're words. Aren't they? They're words. Whatever language is spoken, they're words. It's because you can't handle them. They draw your consciousness down, not to the words, to the effect the words have on your inner being. You're doing it. So what spiritual growth means is you don't do that. You don't do that. You don't create differentiation where there isn't any. But I know you'll fight with me. You say there is a differentiation. There is male, female. There is this. There is not. That. Yeah, right. And there's a planet Earth spinning around the middle of nowhere. Now there's a differentiation. You just get off the planet. Show what's going on. Remember 1.3 million Earths inside the sun? And there's 300 billion suns in your galaxy. And there's 2 trillion galaxies. What exactly is bothering you? But you won't live there. Okay, and that's what we're talking about. So the non-dual state, the true non-dual state, doesn't mean you're arguing based on physics or this or that or meditation. Oh, it's really non-dual. It means you don't need there to be duality. Therefore, there isn't. I don't care what his socks look like. I don't care how you wear your hair. Therefore, there's no differentiation. I know you can make me see it. Don't you see it's red? Don't you see it's tied back? Don't you see the ear? But if I don't need to see it, I don't see it. Is there anything wrong with that? See, you think that if you don't see the differentiation, you're not going to have any fun. It's darn boring. Are you in for a surprise? The reason you need the differentiation is because you're not okay inside. And it distracts you. And you need to be distracted because what's going on in there is no fun. So if this is the color I like, oh, I want to be around that. If I'm into male, female, I want to be around that. If I like big houses, I want to be around that. If I don't like big houses and people are wasting money, I'm more, right? In other words, you need to distract yourself from yourself. If I leave you alone, you're bored to death. You don't call them distractions. You call them entertainment. Were you entertained by the movie? No, it was boring. What does that mean? It didn't take me away from myself. I sat right there worrying about money and this and that the whole time during the movie. Was it entertaining? Yes. I lost myself completely in it for 2 hours. I didn't even know where I was. Oh, you like that, don't you? It's because you're not okay inside that you need the duality. You need differentiation. You need there to be things that distract you from yourself. And so you just come up with them. Then you think about what you want and what you don't want. It's all about distraction. Right? Oh, come on. Here's a 3-carat stone. What kind of stone is it? It's a diamond. He gave it to us as an engagement ring. You took it immediately to a jeweler. Is it flawless? Well, way down under 6,000 microscope, magnification, there is a little line halfway. Oh, he doesn't love me. Are we weird? Just answer me. Am I convincing you yet how weird we are? You need there to be differentiation. Why? Because you're not okay. And you say that if it's a perfect diamond, I'm more okay. That means somebody likes me. Look what I have, a perfect diamond. There's no difference between one with a flaw without a flaw, except you said so. Now you understand duality, and you're starting to get non-duality. So non-duality is not a cold state, because you didn't lose your consciousness in this state of duality that things have to be exactly the way you want, exactly the way you want. It's not enough that I say, I love you. Well, if I say it like this, hey, I love you too. Oh, no. The tone matters, the time, and every single thing. So you're in trouble. If I'm non-dual, I'm not making those distinctions. I think it's wonderful if you say I love you, and I think it's wonderful if you don't. I'm not judging that way. I'm not doing it. So I get to be happy all the time. I get to feel joy all the time. The joy you need for things to be the way you want them to be. Somebody wearing the clothes that you want, talking the way you want, treating the way you want. Every single thing has to be the way you want. What if you don't need that? What if you're not into that? You're fine with the cars that drive by. Somebody else, tell the story in Untethered Soul. Somebody else sees a Mustang drive by on LA freeway. There's thousands of cars driving by, but that one looks like your girlfriend's car, and there's somebody cuddling up to that person when they drove by at 70 miles an hour. I think there was. You're not okay until a good explanation gets made and prove it, okay? So the non-dual state is where the joy you feel when things are the way you want is the joy you feel all the time. It's called unconditional well-being, not conditional well-being. See the distinction? And you see how it fits into the non-dual state. The less that things need to be the way you want, the better off you are. Okay? It's always that way. So the non-dual state is not a state of dead, boring. It's the opposite. It's a state of total unconditional well-being. Unconditional love. Let's say I love you. We fall in love. That's really beautiful. How hard is it to fall out of love? How hard is it for you to do one single thing that I don't feel so much love right now? That's because you're in the dual state. You've defined how they have to be for you to be open. What if it's unconditional love? Period. You're in a bad mood. You said something, fine, it's adorable, fine. Take some time for yourself. That's because you're okay, because you're non-dual. I'm just trying to show you. Don't think of non-dual as the great Zen non-dual. I say there's a whole look on the web. There's a whole movement about non-duality. That's a philosophy of things. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your everyday life. Notice the difference between non-dual and dual. Because there are plenty of things you're non-dual about that other people are dual about. Guess who's better off? You're free. It's liberation. Now you understand liberation. You're a free being in that area. If you were fine before it happened, you're fine after it happened. The rivers and stream pour into the ocean. It doesn't overstep its vows. There's a state of complete peace. Not bad. That's what the high spiritual state is. So the more you can be non-dual about, not suppressing, not denying, that's not non-dual. If I'm upset about this and I push it away, that's not non-dual. That's a mess. I stored my duality inside. I made a mess of myself. It's when you truly don't see the difference. Why? Because you don't need to. You have nothing going. That's what it's all about, having nothing going, just being. You're not doing something, you're not doing something. You're just there. How do you just be there? By not having any reason to be anywhere else. You're just there. You're there, and you're experiencing what is. And there's nothing inside of you that's changing because it turned out like that. Let's look at that. Now, ultimately, the great state is you become that way about everything. How do you do that? Let's talk about that. How do you move toward the non-dual state, which is a state of enlightenment, which is a state of total oneness, which is a state of merger with the whole universe? You no longer have a need to be you. Die to be reborn. That's Christ. Christ is non-dual. He sat there in the garden, said, may I pass this cup? What cup? The dual one. Do I have to go through that? And the minute he said that, what did he say? I'm sorry, not my will, but thy will. And never opened his mouth again. Forgave everybody, forgive them, they know what to do. He was in a non-dual state. That's why I say my Father and I are one. To him, the whole universe was just the manifestation of God. And let it be what it is. And he surrendered completely, right? Buddha did the same thing. So it's not that you have the need for differentiation, but renounce it. People think I talk against renunciation. I don't talk against anything. I just want you to understand your options. I want you to understand the deep truths. Are we in the non-dual state? No. What are you in the dual state about? The things that I've stored inside of me. I have preferences, don't I? I have things that need to be a certain way for me to be okay. And if things are not that way, I'm either disappointed or I'm freaked out. If they're the way I don't want. And I spend my whole life trying to buy into that and make things outside be the way I need them to be so I'm okay inside. Your entire life you're going to do that, as opposed to learning to let go of that stuff, not keep it inside, not hold it inside, not suppress it, so that you can be whole with the rain, you be whole with the cold, be whole with that whatever's happening is this weather. I teach in my books, and I wish you'd understand, the weather can be your guru. You can literally get as high with the weather as your guru as you can sit next to an enlightened master. What do you mean? Because you can't handle the weather. You complain all the time. I don't want to get out in the rain. My favorite is, why is it to rain on my birthday? It doesn't know it's your birthday. But you are so dualistic that your birthday is different than every other day to the rain. Is it? No. And so what you need to do is learn how to become more non-dual, but not by suppressing. All right, how does one do that? Well, first you understand what's going on. You have stored inside of you things that you either liked or didn't like, and now you're dual about them. They either were pleasant or they were unpleasant, and you're seriously dual about them. You like the ones that were pleasant, you don't like the ones that were unpleasant. And you store that inside. Now that anything that happens, you become totally dualistic, weird. Have you never noticed that people can be weird? You look at, what are you doing? Something doesn't matter. Who cares who's sitting with who? What's the matter with you? No, it means he's cheating on me. Because he's talking to somebody? You can get that way, can't you? Okay? That's the ultimate of dualistic. I have all these preferences, all these concepts and views and hopes and dreams and all that kind of junk. All right? So I'm in trouble. So the first thing you do is understand. First, I want you to understand the non-dual state. It's a very high state. It's complete enlightenment. When the whole universe becomes one, you have merged with God. There's nothing dual. It's all just creation. See, we said it's just people on the planet Earth, then it's just the planet Earth. It's creation. There's just creation going on there. Oh, you're a very high being. All right. How do we get there? You start by understanding why you're not there. You're not there because you store all this junk inside of you. And therefore you became a walking around dualistic being. What is duality? Likes and dislikes. What did Buddha say? All life is suffering. What's the cause of suffering? Preference. He used the word desire, right? What is a desire? A preference. Can there be such a thing as desire without a preference? I like the word preference. It's easier to see. He made duality. You have a preference. I want it to be this way. I don't want it to be that way. And he said, how to end all suffering? Let go. Let go of your desires. Let go of your preferences. Again, I use the word preferences. It's much easier for you to digest than let go of your desires. All right. So basically, how do you do this? You understand why you're not there. You're not there because you suppressed and held this stuff inside, and you built a whole house inside you. I talked about that yesterday. You built a whole house inside yourself based on the stuff you stored. I'm the person who likes this. I'm the person who doesn't like that. I'm the person that broke my arm. I'm when I was young. I'm the person, this person treated me bad, and men are stupid thing, and the girl dumped me, and I hate women. Okay? Just all the stuff I went through, I stored inside of me, and then I sewed it together, and I made a me. Here I am. Come and get it. Okay? So you made a dualistic machine out of yourself. The consciousness that is aware of that is not dual. What do you mean? It's the closest thing to non-duality you will, well, hopefully you'll get far enough beyond that. But you are right now, there's a state of your being that's non-dual. Do you ever feel love? Do you ever feel disdain? Not liking? How do you know? How do you know? Is it the same you who feels the love as you who feels the disdain? Is the same you who, whatever you see, the same you seeing it? The same you that knows it's night, that knows it's day. Same you that goes in your dreams and sees the dreams. Your consciousness is non-dual. Right now, your consciousness is non-dual. There's only one of you in there. But it's looking at multiplicity raised to 1,000th power. That's what it's looking at. So you don't understand non-duality. But the self is non-dual all the time. Always has been, always will be. Were you in there yesterday? Were you in there 5 years ago? Yes. You're just having different experiences. You're looking at different things, having different thoughts, different emotions, a different body. It looks totally different when you're 5 years old, when you're 50. But it's you in there looking at it, okay? So you do have the non-dual state, but you can't stay there. You can't even begin. Most people don't even know they're in there. That's what I teach. Ever since I first saw it back in, my God, what was it, 69, something like that, 70. I watched my mind talk. Wow, why is it doing that? You know what? It's always done that. You start noticing instead of being it, okay? And anyone I've ever talked to, most of them, they wake up and realize, oh, you are in there. But you can't stay there. You know you can't. The minute anything happens that touches your stuff, you fall down, you've lost it, and you come back, oh, where did I go? And sometimes I come back to, maybe you fell down when you were 22 and you kind of woke up when you're 65. You're in there. How do you bridge that gap? How do you move toward the non-dual? Now that I'm showing you, non-dual is God. God is non-dual. The Lord our God, the Lord is one. So first, understand the problem. The problem is you stored this stuff inside because everyone has different preferences based on past experiences. And as long as that is going on in there, you're going to get pulled down into it. It's like addiction. Pulls you down into it. So first thing is to say, okay, I got this stuff in me. Don't fight. There's no fighting going on here. It's not about fighting with your thoughts, fighting with your emotions, fighting with the world. Nope. I did that for years. I do not teach you that. I don't want you doing that. I want you to see you got a mess in there, don't you? You have problems in there. You can't be okay with those problems in there. You can't push them away enough and say, I'm okay. You can make believe, but I ain't going to do it. We got to get them out. How? Well, if you try to let them out, you're going to have trouble. Why? Because they don't feel good. That's why you stored them down there. I didn't want to experience this, but it happened. I don't care. Just because it happened doesn't mean I have to experience it. You know, it really does mean that, by the way, all right? If it happened and it came in, you have to experience it. No, I can push it away, suppress it, renounce it, deny it, ignore it, right? I can push it away and keep pushing it away so I don't have to feel it. Yes, you can. Did you know you can do that? Right? Freud told you that. The great yogis told you that thousand years before Freud, because they saw that was keeping them from going up, that they'd shove that stuff down there. Okay, while it's down there, it's going to get hit. Why? The world is a terrible place. It hits my stuff. No. The world is neither for you or against you. It's just going about its business based on the laws of physics and chemistry and psychology. It just unfolds. You have this veil that you built around you so that you're looking through that veil to look at the world. So it's always hitting your stuff. Why? Because you're hanging your stuff out there. I don't like this kind of person. I'm prejudiced. Why did they have to move next door to me? Somebody moved. It's not next door to you. It has nothing to do with you. But it does to you because you look through the veil of your personal stuff and that's what you see. You do understand, don't you? That stuff you stored in there is like film. And your consciousness goes through the old-time film, right? Goes through it and projects outside. That's all you see. Somebody's wearing the same clothes as you to a party. They're not the same, but they're close. You're having trouble. Well, what are you doing? You're having trouble because you're projecting this stuff you stored inside, and that's what you see. You project it out there. So it's going to hit your stuff. So you start catching on. It's because I have this stuff in here that I'm having trouble. It's because I have the stuff in here that I have to make life be a way, and I mean all of life, every minute, that doesn't hit my stuff or hits the nice stuff. My brother used to talk to me this way and so on, and I love it. Oh my God, I love you talk to me like that. I bumped into you at Publix, and you happen to be a serial killer, but I don't know that. Because you talked to me the way my brother did, I love you. Okay? So you catch on that it's you projecting yourself out onto life. And if you go out there and try to manipulate the things that are happening, so they always hit your, I can't even talk about it, it's so weird. You're projecting it out there to think that's what you're looking at, and then you're trying to manipulate it so it keeps looking like what you want to, I don't know, it's too complicated. There's a lot of work, isn't it? That's why when you fall from the garden, as the Bible say, you must now work by the sweat of your brow to be okay. Know anything about that? Everybody work by the sweat of their brow to get everything, I gotta say the words, to get everything outside to look like they're projecting it to be. I decided how I want you to be. Are you that way? Of course you're not that way. You're a totally different person than me. You do not have the same stuff inside. You do not go through the same experiences. So my way is totally different than yours, but I'm projecting my way onto you, and now you better behave in the way that matches what I'm projecting onto you. What's the probability? 0. That's why relationships are so hard. That person is not the same as you. Even if you're married 20 years, you did not stay together every minute for those 20 years. He went to work, you did this. So you're different every day. You have more experiences. Relationships can be beautiful. I'm not telling you not to have relationships. Here's a beautiful relationship. You got your stuff, I got mine. I'll tell you what, I'll help you let go of yours if you help me let go of mine. Not if you match mine, I'll stay with you and I'll try to match yours. Just put a little sign up in the morning how you want me to be that day, and I'll try to be. No, that's a terrible relationship, because it's basically saying, I don't want to change. I want to keep my stuff. You match my stuff, okay, I'll hang out with you. You don't match my stuff, goodbye. All right. So now you notice that the problem is the amount of duality you've created in your life everywhere, because there's stuff you stored in there. And you realize the only one going to be okay if I get it out. Is there such a thing as getting it out? There is such a thing as getting it out. What if it's really strong and I've had it in there for a very long time and I'm scared to death to even think about it? There's a way to get it out. Period. All of it, all of it. If from past lives, all of it. You took birth on the planet Earth to get rid of that stuff. Earth is a place that souls are sent to evolve. And you are evolving, but you're fighting it. So how do you do it? How do you go about this? You know what I teach. You do not start with the stuff that's freaking you out. You do not start with the big stuff. There's no way. You're not capable. You won't do it. You'll do it for a little while, then you'll freak out. You start by not putting more in. What good is it to get out what's in there if you're going to put more in every day? And listen to me. You put more in every day, and don't you doubt me one iota. You're walking by and you see a good friend of yours talking to somebody you don't like. You're now a different person. Next time you see the person that you were friends with, you're going to either ask them, what were you doing talking to them? What were you talking about? You left something in there from some stupid experience that you're just passing by. Or you'll be very evolved. I don't want to make a thing out of it. You already did. I don't want to make a thing out of it. I'm not going to say anything. Good. You will never be that friendly with that person ever again. Your heart will not open again. You will not trust them. Do you understand that? That's how sensitive you are. That's how absurd it is that you store that stuff inside of you. So the answer is not renounce. The answer is not talk about it. The answer is we need some techniques to not store anymore. Because naturally you're going to store anything that bothers you at all. Even a thought. What if Sally's talking to George? Oh my God. She might tell him what I did 3 years ago. That will get you upset enough. Now you don't like Sally and you hate George. Can you do that with a thought? How much duality are you creating? That's unbelievable. You're a duality creating machine. You just do it all the time. Now you don't like him. You can't talk about that. You can't. Man, every day you store more stuff. That's where you start. You start by saying, I don't have to do that. I may not be able to let go of the big stuff right now and reach total non-duality, all right? Don't even try. But I don't have to store that stupid little stuff. The driver in front of me, the weather, the birthday thing. What if it's your birthday and you're the kind of person that likes big deals about their birthday? Then what happens if you see somebody and they forgot it was your birthday? Low into them. That's so funny. You know they do anniversary. Don't even think about it. You don't forget that thing. Have I exaggerated? No. How about we work with that simple stuff? I call it low-hanging fruit. And go through the day without storing any more. It's a video game. It's fun. Just make it fun. And then in the morning you wake up. This is my technique to you. I don't teach meditation. I meditate. I don't teach meditation. By all means, meditate. It's wonderful, right? But you got to do this in addition, or there's to be a place that you could escape, right? You got to wake up in the morning and say, I am going to go through this day consciously, not storing more stuff. And at the end of the day, you will have failed. You sit down and take a look. What did I store in here today? And do your best to let it go. Now, and I've always limited time. What do you mean do your best to let it go? There are techniques that are very usable and very easy and very practical. They're called neutralization. Something came in, you saw it hit you. You know it hit you. You know you did not like that. The person didn't wish a happy birthday. And you're like, oh, I don't know, birthday, my friend. That's stupid stuff. Okay? Right then, the moment you see it, don't fight it. Just notice, oh, there it is. What Mickey was talking about. If I don't deal with this, it's going to be there tomorrow. And if I don't see the person for a week, it's going to be there a week later. Isn't it? I don't want it to be there. But no buts. See, that's where you get strict. I don't want it to be there. I don't want to rationalize why it should be there. I don't want to talk about what if they don't do it again. I don't want to do that. I just don't want it to be there. Because I know when it's there, it messes up my life. And I don't want to mess up my life. I don't care why you didn't know my birthday or forgot my birthday. I don't care. I don't care. What I care about is not putting more garbage inside myself and making it so I can't open my heart and be friends with you. That's what I care about. That has to be your intention. Then what do? I give you techniques all the time. Want a really, really nice one? Step off the planet for a minute in your mind. Use your mind. That's using the intellectual mind instead of the personal mind. It works for me all the time. Just step off the planet, see that beautiful, I got pictures all over the place, picture of a beautiful little ball floating in space. What exactly bothered you? Somebody burped. One extra person got into the elevator. Well, it's so crowded. How long are you in the elevator? Oh, 30 seconds. Well, let's make a thing out of it. Let's not. You can step back. You can do all kinds of things. Like, stop for a minute. The planet's been here for 4.5 billion years. Don't you listen to that number and ignore it. You know how big 4.5 billion years is? Go into a corner and count to 4.5 billion 1 second at a time. Get your calculator out. You'll see it's probably a few lifetimes. How long are you to be here? 80, 90? That's not hard. That's a minute and a half. And you're making a big deal out of what? Out of every single thing. Neutralize before it gets stored. Neutralize it. And if it gets stored, you couldn't do it right away, let go. Why? Why should I let go? Because you don't want it in there. That's the only reason. Because I want to see what it would be like to be free. And the world's not going to help me. It's not going to be the way I want it to be. That's what freedom means. Freedom isn't getting what you want. Freedom is getting rid of you. Okay? And so you start working. That's real work. And there's lots of other techniques you'll find. I gave you a little one about let the language change. Somebody's talking to you. I would think it's neat. Somebody's yelling at you. It's fun in the other language. Some languages sound like they're yelling all the time. All right? Play with it. Make it fun. It's an internal video game that's always there to play. All right? And you're going to find out you're much happier. Even that. Just with the simple little things. But the fringe benefit is not just you didn't make a mess of yourself during the day. You learned how to let go. You learned how to, not the rationalization of, you don't understand my childhood, what I went through, my parents got divorced, I hated my stepfather, and he drank. How old are you now? When did that happen? Well, from 5 to 8. How old are you now? 60. Can you do it with that? I told you, neutralizing the past should be the easiest thing. It's not, but it should be the easiest thing for you. Why? It's not going to happen again. Shh. They're not going to get divorced again. In fact, they're all dead. But you still do that. Okay? How about using the logic of your mind? See, spirituality is not non-logical. It's very logical. What's non-logical is what you do with life. It's totally ridiculous. So you start being very logical and you let go. Because I don't want to hold my past in here. I do. It's there. It hurts. Let's talk about it. But it's not going to be there very long. Right? I learned a while ago. I don't fight with him. It's not his fault he's messed up. It's my fault. I'm the one that couldn't handle what happened. I shoved it down there, and now I built a psyche that's neurotic, that's ultra-sensitive. So if I look at him and he's doing something, I used to look at him and say, it's okay. It's okay. Your days are numbered. It's not going to stay that way, but we don't have to do it right now. And this other thing, I used to play all these tricks with him. He'd want something. He'd want some chocolate. Okay, and I was strict in those days, right? I want some chocolate. I found if I say, no, you can't have chocolate, then there's a whole thing about chocolate every time I walk by, okay, right? And so I started to say to him, yes, of course you can have chocolate. He goes, look, you can have chocolate, we'll do it tomorrow. And I would say, every time you do it tomorrow, we'll do it. And he's so stupid, he got excited. It's like a dog. It's a dog you train to think. Have fun. That's the difference from when I started this journey, right? It's fun. You're liberating yourself. And now I've painted this picture of the non-dual. The more you don't make a thing out of things, the less dual you are. Now I can see Sally, even though she talked to George. I let it go inside myself. Now I'm non-dual about that one thing. And you'll keep more and more. And all of a sudden you're going to find out there's this joy inside of you. You're made of joy. You just made this mess. And then the higher states, the real higher states, are when you literally start seeing. There's a line in the Srimad Gita that we sing every morning. The man who has seen God sees God everywhere. That is not just a piece of poetry. You just see God created the universe and he made everybody and he made everything and he's making everything. He is the quantum field underneath, vibrating out of his consciousness, that all of it manifests, all of creation always did. There's nothing but God. Oh my God, there's non-dual. Okay, we had a very interesting talk tonight. I've never talked that much about non-duality, but it's good to see that so you can see the ladder that goes there, right? But if you don't deal with it in your everyday life, don't give me intellectual stuff. You understand non-dual. You understand a single thing. It's just all mind talk. If you work the way I taught you to and work your way up, now all of a sudden your thoughts get uncomfortable. So what? A thought is a cloud. It's just something, believe me, it'll go away. Don't worry about it. And you learn to just let go of the duality you've created inside yourself. Okay? And all of a sudden you move toward oneness. All right. Thank you for listening. Jagradev.
You've been listening to the Michael Singer Podcast, produced by Sounds True in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information on Michael's body of work and all back episodes, please join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening. Sounds True, waking up the world.